Mm. Peace and blessings, family. I am Astaris Miraculi, and today is day 27 of 100 days of healing. I was listening to a talk by Dr. John Bradshaw, and the title of that talk was Healing the Shame That Binds You. And in it, he was talking about the difference between a shame that is, I guess he called it a healthy shame, or something that, basically was opening up a certain awareness, kind of paraphrasing. But then he talked about toxic shame. And the toxic shame, being a shame that says not only did one do a certain thing, but that you are that. That you are, what it is that you did. And that he was speaking about that toxic shame being something that leads to what he calls a soul murder, in that it is not really embracing the possibility of redemption. And so, looking at my own experience, I'm going deeper into this experience of abandonment. There's so many different layers of abandonment and so many different versions of abandonment. And the abandonment that I'm looking at in this moment is the abandonment of praise. I've received a lot of praise for some of the work that I've done, my music and different things of that nature. And now, having embarked upon this journey of 100 days of healing, which centers around, some transgressions and me being out of integrity in my interactions with women. And so I'm dealing with this experience. I would call it an abandonment of praise, a praise that I was once getting, and now, people are seeing me in a different way, like, my shadows, being uncovered, some of my darkness being uncovered. And in some instances, there may be those that see me exclusively according to my shadows that are being revealed, and that there's no reality to whatever the light was that I was expressing. And so I have this opportunity now to really embrace myself, to step beyond needing the praise of my light and expression of light or expression of goodness, but stepping beyond needing that as an affirmation of my worth. I get to stand, in the sacredness of just how do I see my own being? How do I stand for my own light, as well as take responsibility for my shadow and atone for my shadow, offer forgiveness, or offer, that is, a apology for my shadow. And so it's quite a powerful initiation for me, in that I've experienced what I would call a toxic temptation to over-identify who I am with my shadow, with my being out of integrity. And yes, there was that. And there is also the truth that I am not that. Certain things that I did, and I stepped off center and I was out of integrity, but the central core of my being, there's something beyond that. And that's what I'm taking a stand to embrace, so that I can experience true redemption, true elevation above the shadow, and standing in that reality of the light, that I am. But there is that light and there is that shadow, that are there. simultaneously. I'm grateful for some of the measure of shame that I've experienced that has given me a wake-up call to really look at, some of my behavior, that was off-center, that I was being in some ways unconscious about. I'm grateful to see that. And my intention, is to transcend. My intention is to be an impeccable human being, in my dealings with women, with men, with all of my fellow beings, with life as a whole, with my own self. And being impeccable, I feel, is not something that means I never make a mistake. But being impeccable is being able to recognize when I've made a mistake, when I've stepped off center, and then to course correct, to put myself back on track. So I embrace this reality of this abandonment of praise. I take this opportunity to see myself as my Creator sees me, which is a very amazing something, the way in which Creator Source sees me. I want to follow that example, and to come into that place of just the purity, of this beingness, that I am. Also embracing the abandonment of teaching and of doing sessions, because all of that is ceased right now, and appropriately so, because this is my healing journey, to go down into the core and to look at what needs to be redeemed and what needs to be rectified, and how it is that I am to atone. And so my commitment is to really rise in this deep and abiding self-love. I've known a lot of that in the course of my life, done a lot of work on being able to really love and honor myself. And that has gotten knocked on its ass in a way. And so now I'm rebuilding and regrowing, this self-love, and am of the determination that I will emerge with a greater love than I've ever known, and a greater honoring of all being, than I have ever known. So thank you so much for receiving this, and good fortune in all that you are and all that you do. I love you so much.